All right,
Absolutely.
everybody. Hello. This is another edition of the Military Brat Chat podcast brought to you by the Better Bittner Business Network. And we discuss all aspects of military life based all around the family unit. And we focus mainly on military brats, but we also talk to spouses and active duty service members, retired service members, because everybody involved is part of the family unit. And we all have stuff to say about how all of this affects us. So we're jumping in today. Amber, take it away.
Absolutely. And today, in honor of Veterans Day, a special episode is actually going out. We are actually joined by Dr. J.R. McIntyre. J.R. McIntyre, he is the host and the owner of, and you're going to have to pardon me, but what is the name of your podcast, sir?
The motivator circle. I'm the hood motivator, but it's called the motivator circle.
The Motivator Circle. Jay is actually a 3 times combat veteran, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his life, some of the things that have inspired him to do some of the things that he has done, and how military service has honestly shaped him, and how he continues to serve just by serving his communities and helping to motivate others with his life coaching and his speaking. He's also a best-selling author, so if it's definitely check out his book. I'm going to let him plug whatever he wants to plug on this show, but I'm going to let him take it away and just Jay, just let us take it away. Tell us about yourself. And
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. And, I'm honored to do this podcast tonight, and just to tell my story, and, how I was able to, continue to fight with mental health, but continue to work, right? So, of course, I'm a military veteran. I did 3 combat tours in Iraq, 2 to Afghanistan, got a Bronze Star in combat. Yes, if you go on Amazon, you can type my name in, Jayr McIntyre. You'll see my books that are at Amazon. One is called The Elephant, the other one is called From the Block to the Board. You can take a little glimpse of the books that I put out. I'm signed to the Los Angeles Tribune podcasting. So I'm a kid from Los Angeles. Go Dodgers, go USC, go Lakers, all that. Long Beach, born and raised. Grew up seeing a lot of craziness, in my childhood, and then transitioned to county jail to going into the army after the towers had failed in 2002, July 23rd. So that's when my life took a pivotal step towards manhood. And I grew up fast because a year later after I joined, I was in Iraq, 2000. At the end of 2003, I was in Iraq. Initial invasion after that, and driving from Kuwait to Iraq, and sandbags at our feet, no doors. That the beginning stages, burning feces, poop, burn pits, driving from Kuwait to Iraq, seeing overturned vehicles and tanks and everything that the army came in and destroyed in the first 30 minutes of that. And then we just drove all the way on MSR Tampa all the way to our base. Didn't know what to expect. Didn't know we were kids. And I remember 2 weeks before we landed in Kuwait, I didn't know what patriotism was. I was just wanted to leave my city because I was lost. Army said they would feed me and give me a bear's phone, and I ended up going to Germany, and we got the orders to deploy. But I remember vividly when I learned patriotism as an African American male, which in the inner cities, you don't go fight that war, don't go do that. Don't, they tell you, I want to get some rain. I'm here now, but learning that, shout out to Sergeant First Class McDonald, 2 weeks before we went to Iraq, they used to have the flag used to, go off at 5 o'clock, and we had to salute it. And we ran as privates to avoid to salute the flag. And he yelled at us. He said, "We like, get your butts back outside." And he gave us one hell of a speech, like Tuskegee, like Buffalo soldiers, telling us, "Hey, this might be the last time you see this flag on this post." And so, lo and behold, a lot of the guys didn't make it back. That's why I just discovered my patriotism as an African American male, fighting this war on terrorism and understanding who I am and what part that I play in this world, protecting us as veterans. What I'm saying? But then not only did I do that, we went back to back to back like the Lakers. So I come back from a 12-month train up again, go back for 15 months, train up again, go back again, and it just, I was dipped in fire. Combat soldier going out the wire every day, losing friends mentally and physically. So a lot of guys came back, but they didn't come back. You know, transitioning, retiring after military medical retirement, and I'm dealing with my mental health. And I raised my hand and said something was wrong. That's when I tried to feel the strongest. And, I'm still doing the work, but I did 7 days in the inpatient hospital. My mental health told me up. The physical scars were important too, but the mental is the one that keeps you up at night. You know what I'm saying? And losing your friends and not having them back. And I dealt with survivor's guilt. None of that other stuff scared me. I was actually kind of gone with the troops of contact. I was a fire supporter, so I would drop bombs. So not only was he, take a direct contact, I'm on the horn calling the air support and the mortars and dropping bombs and doing all that good stuff out there. And, I ended up after retiring out of the military, going into entrepreneurship, another scary battle. And after COVID, I felt bankrupt and people that it was hard because that was my baby. You know what I'm saying? I put everything I had into entrepreneurship. Quickly, I needed to understand about education. So I went back and got my master's in business and I worked on my doctorate in business and learned that friends and family doesn't mix. So I was hiring people that had potential, but I wasn't hiring people that I needed. And I love those people. And that's what my next book is called. It's called A Good Heart Don't Pay Bills, because I was pouring into people, but when I fell, nobody came for me. And it was hard because I almost took my life again for the fourth time. Another suicide out here. I had a plan and everything. And it was broke, everything. And God came to me one night and was like, hey, I told you that wasn't for you because everybody has a gift. And I think I was living my life for other people because I wanted to do things for the veterans. And I was looking, you can do something else. Your dad's a minister. Your grandfather's a powerful minister. Start speaking life, but until then, speak life into yourself for. So I spoke life into myself every day. And I started putting the messages on Instagram and start blowing up. And then I started to fix myself. And when I fixed myself, it started to help everybody else. And then I became top 50 motivational speakers in January 2025, number 44. I spoke for free for 3 years. Didn't make a dime. Just wanted healing. They want to deal with anything. They even wanted LLC. I just created an LLC this year and in the website, but I got notoriety just giving back and giving back. Now I'm one of the top motivational speakers, made 6 figures speaking, and not because of the money, because I deserve it because I've been through a lot. And now I give back to everybody. And now I want to, people tell these stories and everybody has a phone and everybody has a microphone and everybody has a camera. But is your story authentic? Is that you? You know what I'm saying? Do you just want to talk or do you want to talk? So I talk a lot about mental health and everybody is now they're hashtagging it and making it look cool. But are you doing the work? Who's doing the work? I did ayahuasca. I hugged on horses. I hugged on trees. I did Reiki. I did all these things, mushrooms, everything to try to get my healing. I did it all. You know what I'm saying? And I still do it. And this is what you have now, life coach, a motivational speaker, someone who is dipped in fire, is a warrior, is calm, who can articulate his speech. And if it's one person knowing you, taking 17.
Absolutely. No, and I trust me, I've looked over your work recently and I am a fan. I'm a fan of everything that you do. I think that it is important, okay? And when you see some of the things that we've seen in the world, okay, we know that that's the one difference I think between military connected individuals and civilians. We see a different side of the world. We know some of the darker corners of what's really out there, what kind of lurks underneath the surface sometimes. Mm-hmm. And when you know those sorts of things, it's very, very important to have that spirituality. And I'm a firm believer in creating beauty from darkness, right? And that's exactly what you're doing. And that's just an amazing thing. I can't commend that enough. That's phenomenal. You should be very, very proud. I'm proud of you. So.
And that's my my tagline. I go around and I tell everybody, first of all, probably sometimes it's cliched, but people don't hear that all the time, and I love it because first of all, you don't hear it, and you don't hear it from people that look like me. So I'm genuine about it. Like I really want people to succeed because I don't want you to see what I saw. That you don't want that. You don't want to not fall asleep, see these nightmares that would scare the normal person.
Yeah. Two peas in a pod. You're speaking my language. I'm on the same page as you in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But with that being said, so what were some of the hardest things about you transitioning out of the service? What were some of the things that you found, I think, when you got out about, hey, you're kind of a civilian now. Yes, you have the veteran title, but you're in the civilian world now. What were some of the things and some of the hard realities that you faced transitioning out of service?
That time bad training in military, it doesn't matter. They don't care. You get out here in this regular world, it's you. We're taught that they care. They don't care, And I was forced to go get my education and my certifications to make them care. You're gonna lose. Okay, yeah, I did this, that, and the third in the military, but I would tell every veteran too that whatever you did in the military, yeah, that's great. I appreciate you. And guys like me, we know what you did. But when you get in this world, they don't care because they didn't get 20 years in their field. So they look at you equal or lesser value. And if you come in to after I failed, I went to go did my test on project management and passed it. Went to try to do construction. They didn't appreciate me. They didn't care. It was toxic, messed up my mental because the top of the food chain. But I got my master's. PMP and all this military experience. I was a threat to the asset, and I wanted to just add value. I didn't teach me what you know. I'm not here to compete with you. So that's my biggest thing I learned is not every veteran is what you say it is, and then not every civilian appreciates the veteran that you did because that wartime, yes, bring our troops home. That's 20 years ago. They don't care. They do not care at all. You could be losing your home. They don't care. I'm 100% disabled. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? So you got to keep pressing your line and do what you got to do and support the real ones, to be authentic. And me, I show up with my hat on. This is who I am. But don't take anything away from me because I worked hard for it. Nobody gave me that. You know what I'm saying? And I had to build that after the military. So I scratched all that. When I did all of my awesome things I did in the military, I started from ground zero. And now I'm a year away from graduating with my doctorate in business.
So do you think that the military helped gear you for that, or do you think you've always had that entrepreneurial drive since you've been young? Where do you think the entrepreneurial drive came from?
My father in the military helped me, yeah, but my father was the main, like, he's awesome dad. My mother died when I was 9 years old of age, so my dad did the best he could. And I bought it because I thought he was being mean, but look at me now. You know what I'm saying? So he put that entrepreneurship bug and being a speaker because he's a minister and my grandfather, both minister. So I was taught how to read, articulate, and command the room at an early age since I was a little boy.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, and you had me thinking about the mental health system actually, and my father in particular is one of the reasons I'm even where I'm at right now. I can't say enough for a strong father figure in your life. It's amazing. My dad always instilled a good work ethic in me, but the thing is when I had my psychotic episode, which was triggered by trauma, specifically and when I was a young adult, when I was 21 years old. So I weighed about 115 pounds back then because I did not have a job. I was homeless in Alaska, and that whole situation. When I got into the mental health system finally, after about 10 years of struggling, they were telling me, "Oh, you're never going to be able to work, and just keep applying for disability, and we'll keep giving you meds, and you can come here for free." And I sat there and did that for another 10 years. So 20 years of my life, I was encouraged to do nothing. And my dad finally, when I moved in with them, sat me down and said, "Have you tried? Just try. Go to school, okay?" And so I did. I went to Southern New Hampshire University, and after that, my dad said, "You know what? You're doing really well in school. Have you thought about getting a job?" And I was like, "If you're asking me to try, I'm gonna try again." And I went to Goodwill. Okay, there are ways, and I can't speak any more highly of Goodwill. They started me out just above minimum wage. Okay, but it gave me the confidence. It got me talking to people, talking to customers, talking to people at the donation door, hearing other people's stories. And it's the mental health struggles, you're not gonna overcome that without work, and that's life. And I've told my roommate's kid all the time, "Oh, I really don't wanna do dishes right now." It's like, "Man, this work's got to get done. Work is a part of life. It's got to get done. And the only way you're going to have any free time is if you do the work. And if you don't do the work, it just gets worse.
But it's also important, I think, to remember in that scenario, you have to also, there's a certain amount of grace. You have to allot yourself a certain amount of grace. Because I know even certain days, and I don't know about you, Jay, I don't know about you, Jesse, but I know for me, I have loss of faith really, really bad sometimes. And sometimes it's really, really hard for me to get out of bed. Not gonna lie. And I will lay there. And it's not that I don't want to do things, and it's not that, you have this you have this disability. It's what I like to call a functional freeze. You're functional. You can take care of yourself. You can take care of all of the main little key points to live, but you're not actually doing anything above just the bare necessities. How do you get yourself to get above that bare necessities? And that's where that work comes in. You have to create those mantras for yourself. You have to be able to have that focus and that drive, even just to have that community of something to look forward to. And I think that's a huge key point, and some things that are also missing, certain community transition pieces. But I don't know. What do you think, Jay?
Well, I mean, I think it's just being direct with whatever the situation is. And like I had a good sanity, so I can tell if somebody really want the help and they need help. So it's a difference between needing and wanting. A lot of people need the help. 80% of the world need it, but do you want it? So what are you going to? What are you willing to do to get it? Do you really want change? Do you want to help yourself? Do you want to get out of here? Because sometimes we hang on to things because it feels good, because that's the only thing we can talk about. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only exciting thing, even if there's failure, that we can talk about. Remember, like, okay, what about now? What are you doing now? And that's why when I talk to people that serve with me and prior service, yeah, that's good. So I made a colonel or general or sergeant first class. But what are you doing now? Are you doing the work now to help? Because people are still watching you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm pouring to all my communities. I don't just do one. I do a lot of communities, and I make sure. But when I do that, I make sure I take care of myself too. So Thursdays, it's not like today. I'm mental health day. I don't do anything. But when you told me that this was, I was like, all right, let me put this aside, because tomorrow I speak twice. I speak at elementary school in the morning, and then tomorrow night, a crowd of 1,000 people, I'm speaking of mental health. So it's like, all right, Jeff, like, you got to just, take care of you first. And how do you do that? And do the work too.
Absolutely. Self-care is super, super, super important. But no, it's like I said, it's fabulous having you here and sharing your stories with us, Jay. I really do appreciate you. But what other nuggets of wisdom do you have for us today? Because I just want to pick your brain about everything while I can, just while you're here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a resourceful person, an entrepreneurship speaker, life coach. Like I said, I always talk about just being authentic, and also just it's timing too. Right. So you don't force the person to overcome what they need to overcome. Just be there for them. And sometimes being there for them is maybe just be in silence and understand. I'm a product of my environment. I never shy away from it. My brand is the hood motivator, because I came from the hood. But don't misunderstand when I'm really trying to convey the message of what I've been through. I used to be ashamed of that came from. I just started more talking about it, because my mama lived on Skid Row. She was homeless. She died of AIDS. I'm a crack baby. So it's all these things that I ran away from, and it's only told some of my military stories. I didn't tell like the horror stories, either being in there, being in special operations, and dropping bombs, and doing all the things up in combat as a fister and a co-platoon, and old yay and everything like that, that I was only one of one. You know what I'm saying? You know who you are. You know what I'm saying? When you in there, and I wasn't just regular. We did our job, and we did it at the highest speed. And, we was waiting away mental health while still losing. I lost 27 guys in combat. So it's like not just one story of PTSD. I got multiple. You know what I'm saying? So
don't make assumptions about you. I like that, because as somebody who's been trying to educate and open their mind a lot more lately, I think back to, and this is going to sound stupid, I know that, but I'm going to say it anyway. South Park, when I watched it, there was an episode in particular of South Park, and I realized most of their shtick is just trying to upset people. But they had this one episode where Stan kept coming to the character Token. He's like, "Man, I get it now. I get it." And Token's like, "No, you don't." And at the very end of the episode, he says, "You know what? I get it. I don't get it." I will never get it because I am not a POC. And the only thing I can do is understand that I don't get it and be as supportive as I can and that's how you make the real difference. You don't do it by running around spewing platitudes and everything else. It's
Well,
action and it's understanding.
Right.
I think a lot of it too has to do with economic development as well.
Exactly.
I think that's the main key thing, because when you think about the difference between urban and rural areas, when you look at food deserts, when you look at all of these other different things, and I don't know, my mom always raised me, it doesn't matter where you came from, it's where you go in this life that matters. Okay. She was raised, like I said, my great great grandfather, he was World War I. Okay. He was fought on the beaches of Normandy. His job, he loaded artillery, and that's what he did in the big guns. And so, when he came back from World War I, he had a metal plate in his head, but he became a sharecropper because that was the whole entire government thing for the time. Hey, we'll give you so much land if you farm so much. And so we were poor farmers. That's what we were. And so when you look at some of our family, we were poor farmers, we were moonshiners, we were coal miners. All of us came from the wrong side of the tracks, and all of us joined enlisted military. I mean, all of us. I mean, it's how you look at it. And so when you look at like those economic development pieces, I think that has some of it to do too, as far as, the drive of when you have nothing, you have to understand, hey, you can't cry because you have to have an onion. You have to learn how you have to boil that onion down to make a soup to feed a family, right? So you do what you have to, you rub two pennies together, you make them scream.
There you go. Yeah,
And
definitely.
So,
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head there about economic development. I mean, a lot of this stuff is situational. I mean, like
yeah.
my family was poor in the big. Well, we're not rich by any means, but situationally, okay. After my grandfather got back from World War II, all the refineries started happening on the coast there in Texas, and he was in a really good position for a long time. Okay, because of where he was from, and other areas need to be developed. Every area has its own potential, and it's a matter of realizing that potential and getting the right people to contribute and build up based on that potential. And it's just not enough of that happens. I mean, there are a lot of places I know, like 20 years ago, there was a small town that was basically a ghost town, and they had the young people there they were building businesses, making organic fuel and clothing, blue jeans and stuff like that. I forget the name of the town, but there as long as there's and I'm going to keep coming back to this. I know I sound like a boomer. Okay, but it all comes back to like there's so much work out there that you could do to. Well, I'm sorry, Amber. What
Nothing, Jesse. I'm
I
going back to our conversation last night when I told you, hey, Jesse, the tism is showing.
Yeah, I
That
know, but
is showing a
big
little.
big shocker, I'm on the autism spectrum. I say that at least once a show, I'm on the autism spectrum, so I start info dumping and I don't shut up, but
That's okay. You're great. You are wonderful, and that's why you're here. That's why you're here with me. So no, we appreciate all.
no,
So, with all of that being said, Jay, I am going to release this episode for, Veterans Day and things like that. And I am a firm believer, always reach out. If you know somebody, reach out. It doesn't matter if you know what they went through or not. Just send them a text. Say, hey, you know, don't let people sit alone. Try to rope them in, because, like I said, that community, those pieces are very very important. But what other things might you like to share for military brats out there who might be going through some things, or what pieces of wisdom might you want to share to leave everybody with today?
I have my kids, and I always talk about too the mental health aspect. And I was back to back to combat, and I was always gone. So I know my kids suffer with that mental health issue of daddy, not coming back, or coming back and it's not the same, and introducing yourself to your kids at a young age. And, I put myself in their shoes and just see that not only would I deal with it, they deal with it too. So I would say, lock in with your parents' stories and understand what they did, and then also take care of yourself too, because watching them suffer, you suffer. You know what I'm saying? Watching my mom go through what she went through, yes, I had trauma before that because it sucked because I'm a human being. But also like our kids that watched our parents go through the military trauma and combat and coming back and being isolated, crying, getting help and being in the hospital. My kids had to see me go through that. Me keep their moms happy and all these things. So, I just use prayer to help facilitate the movement. And then also just organically just love them. And it's never too late. Like right now, me and my kids are closer than ever because one is 25, the other one is 19, the other one is 15. So now they're older. My son is 19. He's getting ready to go into the military. So now he's understanding like, okay, daddy, he wasn't going just because he wanted to. He had to be going and he had to provide. I love my kids. So it's like, okay, I'm a single father. And even me, I wasn't able to come back and see the birth of my kids because I was in combat. So the army didn't allow me to come back. So when I came back, they were either 6 months or 15 months. So, the last two. So
Oh.
yeah, but keep your head up, what I'm saying, the military brats and tell your story. Start vocalizing it and let people know that you're not the only one out there. That's what I would say. That and thank you for your service, military brats, because not only did your parents serve, you served your parents and waited for them patiently for them to come back. And what I'm saying, even though we didn't come back all the same, but just seeing my kids make me happy, pinching their little cheeks when they were little and loving on them and getting the better part of that. Yes, I'm a warrior and I did some crazy things, but I love my family.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I lost my dad, unfortunately, recently, last December. And, my dad, when I say my dad was the rock of our family, my dad was the rock of our family. The man, when we were in Germany before 9/11, he was diagnosed with kidney cancer. And so he lost both of his kidneys very, very young. And so I started my first business walking dogs over on Clay Castern Army Base at 10 years old.
I was in
Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah, I
Sprechen
was
Sie
in
Deutsch?
Germany. Mein bisschen.
Okay.
Ich
Yeah, I
habe
was there
wieder
for
mein Deutsch vergessen.
you see, you do speak German. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I was there for 3 years in Schweinfurt and Bamberg and Würzburg and all that. That's okay. We do have a
yeah.
lot of common. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we went to General H.H. Arnold High School in
Oh
Wiesbaden. Me
wow.
and Jesse did. Yeah,
Oh
so
wow.
we were
Look at that.
yeah, we were on Clay Castern, our base, deployed during Operation Enduring Freedom, and then before, because we were both Cold War kids. So we have a lot of friends who, the Berlin Wall, when the Berlin Wall was coming down, all overseas during that time, and we have a lot of stories from things like that. Just experiences with people who don't necessarily like Americans so much, always. So yeah,
Yeah.
because
What year was you guys over there?
I was over there 96 to 02, 03,
Okay.
I think.
Okay. I
Yeah.
got there in '02, so
Yeah, 99 to 2003 for me, and then I went back 2006 to see my brother graduate from H.H. Arnold, and that was during the World Cup in Germany. So that was an experience.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
And then after high school, I ended up doing a couple of different things. I owned and operated a mechanic shop for a while. So we end up, I'm an entrepreneur. I've had my hand in so many different businesses. And if you've taken my boots to business class, you guys already know. But
Yeah, definitely. I love it too. And let's
yeah,
continue to push on and thank you for the support and thank your platform for supporting me. And go check out my books. I also have a school app, SKOOL, that I teach inspiring life coaches and motivational speakers how to get their voice heard. So and also my website, you can check it out. You can book me. You can see everything I'm doing and follow my Instagram, my YouTube, and I appreciate you guys so much.
all right, and get that info to Amber. All of those links, get them to Amber. And when I produce these shorts that I'm going to be producing for you, I'm going to throw all of that stuff every post on Twitter, Instagram, all YouTube, everything.
Hold on. Yeah, I sent you my Instagram already, Amber. I'm seeing my school thing tweet. But well, my website, I'm gonna drop my website. My website have everything in there. So
absolutely.
mm,
And then one thing that I'm also doing for my guest, Jay, and given your production budget is probably a lot greater than what mine is for right now, but I am recording mini commercials. So we'll take a snippet out of this and we
okay.
will promote your podcast with all of your socials and everything else. I'll send you the MP4 so you can share it on your social media or wherever you need to share it. And like I said, it's just co-branding that I'm putting out there for you saying, hey, check out his books. He's amazing. And check out his podcast, So
No, this is it. I appreciate it. And like I said, let's continue to keep inspiring each other. And thank you for looking through. Like I'm saying, you see a lot of people that are doing it for the likes. And I will say that I'm only doing it for the impact. I don't care about being liked or how many followers, all that. I'm doing it to change one person's life every day.
The way that I figure it, if I can save one person's life, it's worth it.
Yes.
And that's why I'm doing this right now, because with all of the people that I've lost in my life, and I've lost a lot, and you start to think to yourself, if they honestly just had something to go back and listen to for an hour.
Right.
So I'm creating it.
Here it is.
Here's the space.
Yes.
I mean, and it's not as hard as you think. I mean, Amber literally saved my life with a potato.
I did save his life with a
that's we
potato.
tell this story all the time. I was in a really dark place, had a plan and everything else. I didn't want to tell anybody because I had done that before, and they institutionalized me for 2.5 months. And all they did was check my vitals, give me meds, no therapy, no anything. They just kind of let me rot for 2 months, and so I was really dark place. And Amber said, "You know what? I'm going to send you a care package." So she sent me a stress toy. It was a potato. Okay.
Uh-huh.
She sent me that. She sent me a crazy cat lady action figure. Okay. Complete with 5 cats. And what was the other
Okay.
thing? Oh, the screaming goat button that makes
Screaming goat button.
the screaming goat button. And a little bitty stuffed dog that my cat actually carries around the house like it's his baby now. So
I will send the most random things. I convinced my entire family that my mom loved Conway Twitty. My mom hates Conway Twitty. Okay, that is the secret in the family. The family thinks they love. She's not his number one fan. I just post that every year, and they send her music, and I crack up because it just makes me happy. But
Yeah.
sending those things, supporting those things. So yeah, I will send something random just to let you know, hey, somebody out there in the world's thinking about you. Even if you don't think anything else, even if you don't think you matter to somebody. I'm thinking about you. So
Right.
and
you
here's
press that screaming goat button, Jesse. You press
yes.
it, and you press it a lot. Okay.
Well, I mean, I one of the first clips we did, I was talking about using Chat GPT as therapy, and it's like, no, don't do that. Look,
Mm-mm.
you need to reach out to people around you, and it's
And talk to
one of the things
humans.
I was told was, first you go to your family. If your family's not available, you go to your church. If you don't have a church, go to your community. But there are resources out there that are free, like
But the
988.
the thing about it, and it gets difficult too, and let me give you an example of why it gets difficult when you transition out of the military service or out of the military community. Okay. So in transitioning out of the military community, after I've gone through things and things of that nature, and I went through behavioral health, for example. But because of some of the things that I'm privy to, because of some of the things that I know that may or may not be within clearance, not saying whatever, I'm told to be mindful about what I say. I'm told to do X, Y, and Z. And so when you're told these things by a military behavioral health professional, what am I supposed to say? I can't talk to my civilian therapist now. I can't do X, Y, and Z because I have to be mindful. There become certain things there that also need to be addressed in the military behavioral health care services.
Right.
But that's my personal opinion. That is my strong personal opinion. Once again, my personal opinions are not the opinions of anybody else. It's just it's how I feel, and it's what I've been exposed to. Not everybody has that experience.
Right.
But from what I've seen, yes, there's definitely issues there. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. And I understand too. So,
Yeah.
And like I say, what you guys are doing is special. So we had to start at all levels. And you guys are attacking, the kids and understanding that my kids need the same thing. So I appreciate you. And thank you for standing in the gap for the brats of the military.
That's what we do. We're a unit, right? We're a military unit. We're a hive unit. So therefore, we are an army.
Yeah.
We're and I was born and raised Army. Okay, now given my grandfather was Navy, got a lot of different branches in Army. My ex-husband was Army, so I'm very familiar Army. So I say, hey, I've got an Army. And my mama, she always used to laugh at me because faith the grain of a mustard seed can move a mountain. And I think you said that earlier. What I always tell everybody is that if faith, the grain of a mustard seed, can move a mountain, watch out, world, because I have the faith of a baby chestnut.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I'm gonna tism out here for just a second. As we're talking about military brats. I want to say something to the military brats right now. Do not underestimate the power of your perspective from where your life is going to take you throughout this journey. Okay, If you're overseas, you've got the perspective, you've got a multicultural perspective, okay? You've
You
got
have a
that.
geopolitical perspective that a lot of Americans, even a lot of adult Americans, still to this day do not have. Okay.
And you're going to have social skills that other people do not necessarily have. You're going to have the
Or
ability,
understand always.
absolutely. And with your perspective and your insight, you can move mountains. Okay. And
Exactly.
I want to tell everybody that. And I'm living in a new country now. And it's because of going through the military system, going to Japan and Europe, and later living in Alaska and Hawaii and everywhere else. You know, I was not afraid to make the leap to be here with my partner. Okay. A lot of people, people in my hometown, they're telling me, I can't believe you went and did that. You're in a new country. And I'm like, it's difficult. It's never going to be easy when you make that move. And that's the other thing. And
Our
I'm going to shut up here.
forefathers went all the way across the pond. Okay. That wasn't by choice, but not all of it. Not all of it was, just, I mean, to be completely honest, some of it was immigration just right there, just coming over like 1492 and before. So, yeah. Sorry.
No. I was starting to ramble, and that's the great thing about this business partnership is we keep each other in check in different ways.
We
Uh,
do.
like when I start leaving the reservation and going off brand, like
I got you.
yeah, exactly. And when Amber gets functional freeze, I'm right there to grab her and keep moving forward. So that's the one thing I got to say is I can't stress enough. If you've got a good business partner, do not
Right.
take that for granted because
Don't take it for granted.
there's
Thank you.
sorry, I was going to say one of my favorite musicians, Joel Zimmerman, aka Dead Mouse. He said, nobody does anything for you out of the kindness of their heart unless they're your mom, okay,
Yeah.
or your dad. And like, if somebody is saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z for you," kind of pause for a second, be a little skeptical because, like I said, nobody. If you have a good business partner, cherish that somebody you
Yes.
can trust.
Absolutely. Now I feel honored you trust me, Jesse.
That's,
Thank you.
you guys got a good thing too.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
little known fact, back in high school, I actually proposed to Amber after only having known her for like 3 weeks.
And what did I tell you, Jesse?
I think actually what happened is you looked at me and you said, "Marriage." And I think that I was like, "Okay, yeah, I probably misstepped there."
I probably just walked away.
Yeah.
No.
Wow, y'all go way back too. That's dope.
Oh yeah. No, we've known each other since we were like 12, 13 years old, but I have friends all over the world because we met with Colleen the other day. We've known Colleen for about 25 years. We met with Doug Espinoza. Doug Espinoza was actually a paratrooper in the 82nd overseas. He served 2 stints in Afghanistan, so he was actually he was our first guest on the podcast.
Wow.
So, yeah, we've just been connecting with people all over the world and just reminiscing.
Shout out to them.
Absolutely. But thank you so much, Jay, once again. And absolutely check out the Hood. It's the Hood Motivators, right?
Yeah,
The Hood
that's my
Motivators.
the Hood Motivator, Instagram, YouTube, and then the podcast is called The Motivator Circle.
I have a fun question actually. Who's your favorite philosopher?
Right now, actually, it's Kendrick Lamar.
Nice.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Right now. No, him and Nipsey really have, if you listen to what they have to say, have a lot of good things to say. Coming, because that's what I resonate from, because that's where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? I read a lot, but I can attach myself to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me right now, it's actually, and I don't agree with everything that he says, but it's not about that. It's about the man's characters. Maj Toure. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's part of he's the founder of the Black Guns Matter movement. It's a Second Amendment movement, and anyway, he's doing a lot of charity work in his city, teaching people responsible gun ownership and self defense, and they
Right?
actually they raise funds and they do outreach in their community. A lot of it is focused around training single women. So
Okay. I like that.
Don't ask what's on my list because it's Henry David Thoreau. And
Mm.
that's Revolutionary War stuff right now.
Yeah.
So y'all don't want to know what's on my reading list, okay? So,
For real.
With that being said, thank you so much, Jay, for being with us. To you guys out there, who are out there, happy Veterans Day. I don't really like saying happy Veterans Day. To me, Veterans and Memorial Day, it's always a term of remembrance, like for on both scales, to remember the service, to honor the service. So I don't know how you say honor Veterans Day other than Happy Veterans Day. Merry Veterans Day, that doesn't really fit either. So however you celebrate Veterans Day.
I mean, to me, that's every day, because the only reason we're here is because of veterans and the sacrifice and service for our country. And like I said, literally, that's every day.
Definitely, we did.
Absolutely. And so from all of us here, a very, very heartfelt thanks. When we say thank you for your service, we truly, honestly mean that. It's not just lip service, as comes from so many.